Child, did you ever dream about being an aerospace engineer? And wondered why safety is always so important to them? Or why people hate the Boeing company? Well, today, our host, Ethan Hawthorne, is here to tell you guys all about that.
Thank you for that wonderful intro. Now I have a question for you, the watchers. When you hear the words aerospace engineering, what pops into your head? Do you think of a human calculator or a man sitting at a desk drawing plane diagrams all day? If that's so, well, you're wrong. There's way more to aerospace engineering than just those things. Aerospace engineering is about your work ethic, your precision, and most importantly, how you get your job done to prevent the deaths of millions of people. So today, I want to take a deep dive into what it takes to become an aerospace engineer and why safety is their love language. And most importantly, why people think that the Boeing company forgot about that love altogether. So grab a snack, relax, and let's dive into this book talk. After that amazing video, let's get into my book. Now, my book is called The Flying Blind, The 737 MAX Tragedy, and the Fall of Boeing. This book is written by Peter Robinson. Now, Peter Robinson is not just a random journalist. He's an acclaimed investigative journalist, renowned for his incisive reporting on corporate and financial affairs. He's the author of The Flying Blind, The 737 MAX Tragedy, and the Fall of Boeing, a New York Times bestseller. As a native of St. Paul, Minnesota, Robinson earned an honors degree in history from Stanford University. He began his career at Bloomberg News in 1995, where he has held positions including the London correspondent, the Seattle bureau chief, and feature writer for Bloomberg Business Week. His reporting has spanned various industries and regions, covering topics from the rise of discount airlines to the inner workings of investment banks. Robinson's investigative work is distinguished by its depth and clarity, often illuminating complex corporate dynamics and their broader implications. His awards include the General Leob Award, the Overseas Press Club's Malcolm Forbes Award, and 4 Best in Business Awards from Society for Advancing Businesses, Editing, and Writing. Robinson connects decades of deregulation, cultural shifts, and how the voices of engineers were drowned out by executives yelling faster, cheaper. Once you read this book, it feels like Succession, but with wings and very real consequences. And the craziest part is, it's not just about planes. It's about what happens when ethics and engineering don't fly in the same cockpit. All right. Now, there's a reason engineers get gray hair by age 30. Planes don't have oopsies. Safety is the foundation. It's not negotiable. Aerospace engineers use simulations, wind tunnels, redundancy systems, so that if one thing fails, 3 backups say, I got you. But when you prioritize deadlines over data, safety takes a nosedive. Robinson details how Boeing rushed the 737 MAX to compete with Airbus, hiding key details and key design changes from regulators and pilots alike. Back in the day, Boeing's test pilots and engineers had authority. Now it's the MBAS calling shots from conference rooms with more lattes and logic. Robinson reveals how Boeing's merger with McDonnell Douglas began cultural shifts, where cost-cutting became king and engineers, they were sidelined. Robinson explains how engineers tried to raise red flags about MCAS, the automated system that caused both crashes. But the response? Put it in the next software update, like it's a glitch in an iPhone or something. Now, let's talk about this documentary I found on YouTube by Mentor titled Boeing 737 MAX, What Really Happens. In this documentary, he breaks down how clearly the MCAS wasn't just a bad software. It was hidden, it was undocumented, and it was pitched to pilots as not a big deal. Pilots weren't even told that the system existed until after the crashes. Imagine driving a car that has a hidden autopilot that randomly turns your steering wheel. That's not ideal. The MCAS used one sensor, and if that sensor got a bad reading, which did end up happening, the plane can nosedive, and pilots would only just have seconds to react. But people didn't think Boeing was unsafe just because they saw patterns, crashes, cover-ups, congressional hearings, and no one seemed to be in the cockpit, metaphorically. So, what does it take to become an aerospace engineer? It takes brains. It takes work ethic. It takes pressure handling and the guts to say, stop the launch. Something is not right. And why is safety important to them? It's important because every line of code, every bolt that's tightened, every checklist crossed, literally decides life or death. It seems like the Boeing plane company didn't really care about the safety of its passengers, but only cared about the money that it brought in. This wraps up my book talk. It is now 10:41. I'm going to bed.